Hi there, everyone. Lars and Scott back with another anime seasonal preview brought to you by Camille's Harem, a channel for novice authors by novice authors, because writing is an adventure. Oh, I'll do that again. Hi there, everyone. Scott and Lars back with another seasonal, wow, enunciation. Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. Sally sitting in a Chevrolet. As she sits and shifts. As she shifts and sits.
Good. Nice.
Yeah.
You didn't mess that one up.
I can enunciate. Just gotta get there. Hi there, everyone. Scott and Lars back with another seasonal anime preview brought to you by Camille's Harem, a channel for novice authors by novice authors. And because writing is an adventure, it's way more fun with friends. And we are going to bring to you our insights into the upcoming anime for winter 2026 from a writer's perspective, and see if you should give these shows any of your time or give them a pass.
I love doing this because it really ends up introducing me usually to some very interesting stories I wouldn't have picked out by myself. I mean, we've got all the returning series. These are all stuff that we've talked about before on here. We've made individual videos on several of these before too. But the new anime coming out specifically, we end up finding some interesting stuff that we wouldn't have otherwise. And it's really fun to kind of talk about that. And it adds a bit of nuance to our own writing because we see these different writing styles. We see these different kind of stories coming out, and we are able to kind of look and see what how other people handle this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and what's always great is to see, especially as we're going to see with some of the upcoming new anime, is how people are like, you know what, we already know that you understand a lot of these tropes or a premise like this, so we're going to go in a slightly different direction. And sometimes they pull it off really well, sometimes they don't. Other times they're like, look, what's wrong with going back to what you know is tried and true? Just do it well. And then they do it well. And you're like, yes.
I mean, that's all we're asking is do it well in some way. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as it's fun to watch, it's entertaining, I'm more than happy to sit through it. I recently started watching one, I don't even know if we talked about it, but it's called Pass the Monster Meat, My Lady. And it is... I could definitely say it's not the best animated thing I've ever seen, but the characters, the voice acting, the stories actually really engaging and funny, and I've been really enjoying it just because of that. So shall we get started?
Yes. Get started. All right. With the returning anime first?
Yeah, returning anime. We've got... So honestly, I think there's going to be more... There's going to be more hype going on with these returning seasons than there is going to be for a lot of the new stuff coming out.
Yeah. Let's start at the bottom of our list and build up to what we both agree is the best.
Right? Yeah, very true. So, and that might get us a little hate because the bottom of the list is going to be Oshi No Ko. But, I mean, I'm not saying Oshi No Ko is bad. It's just not something that's really catching my interest anymore.
Well, and especially with the way that the manga ended, the people will be grasping onto the anime, pleading for it to do something different.
Right.
Because people raged at the end of Oshi No Ko.
I love seeing that happen though, because the story comes out in manga or light novel form, and you get everybody freaking out about that. And then when it comes out in anime, you see everybody, a whole bunch of new people coming into the story freaking out about the same things the original people did. And it's very entertaining to watch from the sidelines.
Yeah. But I mean, we can expect the Oshi No Ko is going to continue to deliver in terms of animation. They are probably not going to go the same sad route as One Punch Man. So sad.
One Punch Man that first season was so great, and I don't have anything necessarily against JC staff, but they're just not doing it justice. And I feel like they're a bit too, and I think the big thing is they're just too rushed. Like they're
Mhm.
having to come up with this so last minute to get everything done for like each episode that they're not able to do everything they absolutely have to. They're not able to quality check quite right. They're not able to make everything flow the way it needs to. So
or
it makes
add
it
in
difficult.
animation.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do have a place in my heart for JC staff, but that's only because they made Puni Puni Poemi. And if you ever want a wild ride, that's the one to go watch. Anyway, moving on. We're going back into Fire Force.
You know
Which
what? I thought Fire Force was actually done. I know the manga's ended. I thought the anime was over.
yeah,
I was surprised.
I haven't really paid attention to this one either. I do know the further into the story you get, the bigger things get, because like the entire power setup and like how things work keeps changing, and the scale just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So if you're looking for like really flashy, interesting fights going on, Fire Force is where it's at.
Well, because I mean, I don't know, should we drop spoilers about it?
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, if you don't want to hear this, just skip ahead. You'll be able to see in the timeline. Give you a moment to skip ahead. Fire Force leads into Soul Eater.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
The expanding power set and everything is to set up Soul Eater. And so, like, if you're like, this isn't what I originally signed up for in season 1, it's like the evolution is meant to get you somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, and you basically end up with these characters that have pretty much like godlike power and abilities after a certain point towards the end there. So, like, how far past that can you get?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we've got My Hero Academia, Vigilantes, so the prequel spin-off series to the original My Hero Academia, which is still pretty fun.
Yeah. Say, I will admit, I am very, very behind on Vigilantes. But I really do enjoy the concept. I think it's a great way of fleshing out this world, which, I mean, Horikoshi already does a phenomenal job of really pushing the boundaries of the My Hero Academia universe.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot of people who are all like, why did you put this in there? I'm all like, because Horikoshi's actually being honest about what would happen in a world with superheroes. This is all the stuff that people would have to think about. These are the issues that need to be addressed. These are the issues going forward in the future. It's already so big, and he did not want My Hero Academia to go on twice as long as it already did, which is why Vigilantes is kind of nice to have to then provide further insights into this very vast, very nuanced, interesting world where nearly everyone's got quirks. So
yeah,
there we go.
Well, I don't know if they necessarily want to take it as far as say what Marvel or DC or was it Image Comics, the ones who do Invincible, where they're like, oh, we're going to create this whole world and we're just going to keep throwing out stories that are happening in this place, and after a certain point we'll just have to reboot everything again and again and again just to retell the stories in a different way. I don't think it'll end up lasting that long. I do really enjoy My Hero Academia for what it is, because this is a very fun take on how like superheroes and like that entire genre works, and I really like it because of that.
Yeah, I agree. Just to take a jab at what the MCU has become, like if the MCU wants to feel fresh and interesting, it would have to explore stories like what My Hero Academia does. My Hero Academia proves that that it's not superhero fatigue; it's just bad storytelling fatigue.
Yeah. It's they're so tired of the same things over and over again, and Disney keeps putting their hands into stuff, trying to change stuff so it fits what they want of like what the storytellers are actually trying to say, and it that's its own video in and of itself. Let's move on to the next one, which is the continuation of JJK.
Jujutsu Kaisen. Are you ready for my hot take?
Go for it.
We are getting closer to the moment that broke me in terms of Jujutsu Kaisen, where I was just like,
Ooh.
why? why. I'll even tell, and here's the thing, I can tell you it without actually spoiling the plot. And it is that the story got so bent out of shape trying to be smart with all of the different powers that the sorcerers have, that when you read the manga, you were reading basically an encyclopedic breakdown of powers in order to explain why something worked in 1 and 2 panels, and then go back to more encyclopedic descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, just show me how the powers work. The anime can save the manga here, because honestly, the manga derailed itself
Right.
with stuff that is coming up pretty soon. So there you go. There's my hot take.
It's a good hot take. I
Yeah.
can't deny that. That's pretty good. Oh, yeah, that one's one I fell off on very quickly, but I've already made it very clear I'm really not interested in all of these stories where the fights matter more than the plot. And JJK is just another one of these stories that focuses entirely on that. I mean, you can have some very interesting and fun characters. I understand that's what people end up falling in love with, and like watching a cool like anime fight, it's fun, but it's only fun in the moment necessarily. It's not something I look back on and like, oh yeah, remember that one? Like I focus more on like what the characters are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Which this next anime kind of fits into that too, which is Hell's Paradise.
Hell's Paradise.
Which
I
like complete horror element. Well, actually, no, JJK has a lot of horror put into it as well. I can't deny that.
Hell's Paradise has a fantastic ambiance of just overall creepiness, and you are never safe.
Yeah,
which suits its story very well.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those stories where if you haven't already seen it, you just have to know going in, so many of the characters that you're going to like will die. This is not one to watch with the faint of heart.
Right.
Yeah, it's like Game of Thrones. Don't get attached to anyone.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll try not to. Not that I've seen Game of Thrones, but yeah. And then we've got the one we are really excited about. Oh man, this next season is gonna be so great because there's some really cool stuff coming up, and I know a lot of people are really excited. There's a lot of people who want to see more Frieren and Himmel. They're gonna get more Frieren and Himmel in the next season of Frieren Beyond Journey's End. I'm not going to tell you how or like what's going on there, but oh, there's some cool stuff going on. Even, I mean, everything I know about what's coming up, and even just the very Maloo side of things that Frieren focuses on a lot is going to be just fantastic for this story.
So one of the big bits of criticism that was lobbed at Frieren in its first season was how slow it was to start. Even people that I've met, people that I know who are like, I really did like the show. It took like 6 to 8 episodes for me to actually like get into it. Someone else had to tell me like, just stick with it. Right. You feel like we're going to have a repeat of that with season 2?
I don't think so. One, because there's already an established fan base. There's already people looking forward to this jumping back in. And so that's gonna like carry people into it. And like I think, and especially from what like spoiler videos have been put out, like spoiler trailers where this season come out, it looks very much like there's still going to be a lot of this like kind of fun fantasy everyday life aspect that we're used to here, but there's also going to be some very, very touching, very important character moments happening here as well. And it's going to be very interesting to watch, like especially with this first major arc that they get into, because they'll be helping Demke with something has to do with his past, is going to be so cool. And you're going to find out why they had to go through that entire like mage classification exam in the first place in the first season. Because like that was super cool in the first season, but it's you understand going into the season why that's important.
So we're gonna get more Denkin.
Yep.
Oh, Denkin is such a fascinating character.
I'm trying to. Is it Denkin, like the older guy?
Yeah, Denkin.
Yeah. It very much deals a lot with his, and Frieren's. Like you find out their histories cross in a very interesting manner. But yeah, you find out their past ends up being very important to what's going on in this first arc.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to this next season. Say I've had my family asking, so like, when's the next season? When's the next season?
And I'm looking forward to it too, because we're also gonna see some more of more Frieren's genius when it comes to dealing with some very over the top odds. And also there's some mysteries that I still have questions on that I need answers to, and I'm hoping the anime does a good job of explaining some things better, because I need to know what's going on with more of the the top demon generals or whatever they're called. The same group Aura was a part of. I'm forgetting that name, but like there's more of those guys, and they're interesting.
Huh.
They're very interesting. There's some stuff going on in the background involving them that I'm like, I need to know more about what's going on, because this like relates exactly into what's going on with the story. Like I know they're heading right into the middle of this. Like, and there's already hints. Like, pay attention in the first season if you've heard anything about the Southern hero. There's some stuff going on with him that hasn't been fully explained that I think is going to be very important later.
Move. I'm so excited. Fun thing for me is that I'm going to be going into this season blind. I have not read the manga to catch up.
I'm excited. I think this is the one that we're going to have to dive into. This season, because we gotta do this one justice. I'm so excited.
I agree. Oh, I'm so excited for it.
Right.
That's that right there. That's our list of the big returning manga. There's our returning anime. Of course, there's plenty of other anime, but to keep an already long video somewhat manageable, we're only going to focus on 10 now of the up and coming stories that have not yet been adapted.
Yeah. All right. Shall we get started?
Let's do it.
All right. So starting off from top of our list, we have You and I Are Polar Opposites.
Aww.
This one's cute.
This one.
it's very cute, because like you have these two characters that like they are very interested in each other. You can tell that they're like they really want to make this work, but they're also very different people at the same time, and trying to understand each other like going into this. It's very cute. Like, I mean, and it's like how any relationship is like that. You have to get to know the person. You have to get to understand them better. And as you grow to know them better, you end up finding more things to fall in love with.
Yep. And and I love how their friends are all a part of this budding relationship. It's like what this is actually what really won me over to the story was how relatable it is that when people think that like no one knows my inner thoughts and feelings, which is true, but it doesn't mean that other people are blind or deaf to a situation. And I love how our two protagonists have no idea just how much their friends know, or just how much gossip there is that runs around the school, and like how like the airhead guy somehow knows everything because he knows people, and people just talk and he pays attention. He's an airhead in the sense that he's not very smart, but man, this guy's got social capital. This guy's collecting all the greasy deets. And who is his mysterious friend? What's his friend, like Gapacho or whatever? Like everyone's like, who is this guy? Who is this guy that sees us whenever we're walking home? And I'm like, I want to know too. Is there like a stalker, or is there like is someone from another classroom that no one else has bothered talking to? Is it the nerd that everyone ignores, like in Don to Don, where you got the one guy who's been there the whole time and no one's noticed?
Right. Oh man, this one's fun. I mean, a good slice of life rom-com like this is just fun. It's really enjoyable to just kind of sit down and binge. In fact, that's probably what I'll end up doing. Wait until it all comes out and then just binge it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, our next one is called The Holy Grail of Eris. This one's intense.
Yes.
Oh, it starts off intense, and even though it may seem that it like slows down for a little bit, it's only doing that to build up the intrigue, and it just gets more and more intense from there.
Yeah. So the basic premise for this one is that you've got a young girl who witnesses the villainess of a romance academy story getting beheaded for the crimes that she's committed against the royals and against the kingdom. And the little girl doesn't understand what's going on here. She's just there when the woman declares a curse on everyone before she's killed. 10 years later, as this young girl gets wrapped up in her own romantic and political shenaniganery amongst the nobility, the ghost of this woman who had been executed 10 years previously literally steps in. It's actually kind of creepy and cool how that happens, and how the curse begins to slowly play its way out. Like it's not your typical curse, and I really like that.
Right. There's a lot of intrigue and drama and mystery going on behind the scenes, because it very much plays itself out as like, okay, what happened 10 years ago? Because it's very important to what's going on now. And every little fact, every little bit that you get going forward is like just going to make this mystery more and more just intriguing in general. Also really like how you've got the main character and then the ghost having to like coexist, cooperate to try and figure stuff out. And they are very different characters. They go about things completely differently. And it's interesting to see like them kind of have to get along with each other, have to figure out stuff like with each other, but like also like how to figure out how to deal with each other, because it makes up a major part of the story. Because like Eris, the ghost, she's very, very haughty and like regal and vindictive. But then you've got the main character, and she's very honest and straightforward and like just wants to be kind for the most part. But she's finding out that she doesn't necessarily have the ability or the place to do that in the world she's getting dragged into.
Kindness is treated as a weakness, which it's not. Which kindness is never an innate weakness, but by taking people at their word and believing in the best of others when they do not necessarily give you good reason to, that leads to some serious problems real soon. Right. And I love how Eris takes that murderous mentality and flips it on its head, and not like we're subverting it, but rather I am going to yoke it and utilize it in ways you haven't even thought of.
Oh man, that inciting scene, like when she takes over the main character's body and like completely fixes all of her problems, just genius, because she turns this entire scheme this other lady had come up with to steal her, like the main character's fiance, and blame her for like basically wreck her entire reputation in noble circles, entirely back on her head. And that poor lady's never going to be the same. Like just lots of trauma.
Oh, lots of trauma. Oh yeah. No, and just the perverse pleasure that some of those nobles get out of what happens.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's disturbing. And like the moment that scene happened, like in the first, is it like 4 chapters? I was like, I now understand where
Yep.
Eris is coming from, and as you said, like what happened in the past, it becomes relevant in the present,
Yeah.
and you can see why the scars of what happened in the past that led to Eris's execution very, very clearly are still prevalent and relevant in this high class society, which has put makeup over them. But once you smear that away, this is going to be this will be one of those stories that, despite heavy hitters like Jujutsu Kaisen and Frieren being on the scene, I think this is one of the 2 manga, one of the 2 anime on the list of up and comings that I think will hit with
Yeah.
will hit and will resound with audiences.
Yeah, especially coming off of this last season where we had May I Ask for One Final Thing, like people are gonna switch over from May I Ask for One Final Thing into this in a heartbeat.
Yeah, very different story, but similar flavor.
Yeah, very much so. All right, on to our next one. We have the Invisible Man and his soon-to-be wife, and this has got to be one of the cutest, like, little cozy fantasy stories, because, like, you've got the blind lady and invisible guy. They both work at, what, a bounty hunter agency? Not bounty hunter. Private investigator.
Private investigation.
Yeah, but, like, there's so much, like, interesting little... Like, you think going into this, oh, it's just the invisible guy. He's the only, like, odd fantasy element to this. No, there's a lot of other stuff going on. You've got the furry that works in the office with them. You've got a bunch of other, like, characters that have different little, like, fantasy races going on. Like, it's so much fun, but, like, it's so focused on, like, the cute like romance interaction, very much like that first show we were talking about, the You and I Are Polar Opposites. Very much these characters are just starting dating. They're getting to know each other. They're dealing with the little awkward bits of starting their relationship in that sense.
And I don't think we've mentioned that the girl's blind. Yeah, so you've got Invisible Man with the blind girl, and so, like, she's just used to being around, like, she's able to use her senses in a way that allows her to interact with an invisible man.
Yeah.
That he's just not used to. And so that kind of leads to some of their little cutesy moments.
Yeah. No, it's super fun, and I really like that they're making a story like this for people. Well, I mean, like, representing the blind community in this sense. I think it's really fun the way they're handling it. Like, honestly, that date, like that one of those first dates they had where it's like, yeah, we're gonna go out to eat, and like they go onto the street and he's like, okay, your sense of smell is so good. Tell me where, like, let's go the direction something smells good. And so they, like, follow her nose into a restaurant and end up having some of the best food of their life, basically. And I'm like, that's super cute.
Oh man. I love the cutesiness, but I feel like this is one that needs to be balanced out by a strong B plot. Like, the manga does not deal, at least with all the chapters I read, none of them deal with anything that they actually do for the private eye scene.
Yeah.
And that private eye stuff could really help to, like, set up the different scenarios that help to strengthen their relationship on the jobs as their coworkers, and help to introduce the other people within the office that they work with and why they might be more interested other than just simply office romance. There is so much potential to do more. It's all right there, and I just don't know if the story will do anything with all of that potential.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I really think it could benefit from that. So we'll see. We'll see how far down that road it goes. On to the next one. We have the Villainess is adored by the crown prince of the neighboring kingdom. And I gotta say, like, I'm a fan of a lot of these stories that are like the banished villainess or whatever. Like, it's its whole subgenre anymore. It's been its own subgenre for a while. There's a couple of stories in that genre I really wish would get an anime already. This one's a fun one. I like it. I just wish they put a little bit more effort right from the beginning, introducing the characters and getting us involved with what's going on in their lives before we go into like the condemnation event, is what they call it, where the villainess gets quote unquote like banished and broken up with by whatever noble person is their fiance.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a lot in this story that could have been set up better before we got to that point, because as you find out, like I know they do end up revealing a lot of this stuff as the story goes. I just feel like what happens in the first little bit of the story would make more sense and people would get more involved with it if they knew a little bit more about like what's going on here.
Yeah, I agree. Like it was fun. It was cutesy. It was written well enough, but it felt like it was definitely one of those stories that relies on you already knowing the premise of these kinds of stories so well.
Yeah.
That you're just going to go along with it and buy into the gimmick that makes it different from all the others.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the sad thing, because in my opinion it's well enough written. Like, it was interesting. I like the characters, I like the twist, but like as you said, it doesn't really take the time to fully ground you into this world, into who these characters are and their motivations. And so you are kind of like a kite in the wind, trying to figure out when is everything going to get well anchored, so that way the story can soar. And unless you are totally bought into the premise, there's nothing to really hold you there long enough. Like, especially for me, when we got to the end of the requisite 5 chapters, I was like, well, that's nice. I put it aside and immediately went to the next thing.
I can definitely, because I've read through this before and gotten to probably, if it's going to have a second season, the material it's going to touch on in that season. And like, I like the story, I like where it goes with it, but it is going to be one of those that's like, it's going to be hard to really get into right from the beginning. So it's a fun story. I think if you're willing to sit down and watch through all of it, you'll probably enjoy it. But I think there are better options in this subgenre that you could go to. In fact, if you want a really good one, go look up the one within the Villainess. So good. Oh, I love that one so much. All right. That one's not an anime we're talking about yet. We are going to talk about, however, one called Dead Account, which this one has an interesting spin. I mean, it's going to feel very much like Jujutsu Kaisen meets like Blue Exorcist. But like, you've got these exorcists dealing with these like really creepy ghosts and people like with grudges coming back once they're dead. But in this one, it involves like the modern age with technology and people's basically social media accounts and their ghosts possessing that social media account and then cursing people through social media. And the only way to fight that, because you can't fight it with normal exorcist methods, is to fight it through social media, basically. So basically, people have magic cell phones and power themselves up with the power of their social media persona to defeat social media ghosts.
Man, if my social media persona suddenly became a power, I'm not exactly sure how that would manifest itself.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so here's the thing, because like, you've got all of these different characters and they're very, what's the right term of it? They're kind of flannerized. At least their social media persona is flannerized to the point where it's just like, oh, I've heard of that kind of stuff before, but like, nobody's that far down the road a lot of the time. I mean, the main character, he's kind of interesting because like, it's an act he puts on, but you also know that's also part of his character, so some of that's in there as well, because he's a flamer. He likes to enrage people. He gets a kick out of people getting mad at him, but then you find out he's just doing it, try to earn money to pay for his sister's hospital bills. which doesn't end up working out. There ends up being issues there, and that's how he ends up finding out about all of this in the first place. I think it's a fun take on like all of this like ghost fighting, exorcism kind of stuff, and like it has some interesting characters and interesting ways to handle stuff, but it is very much the same ideas that we've seen a number of times now, with a bunch of different shows, just like Blue Exorcise and Jujutsu Kaisen being the main ones of them that do that.
Yeah, I agree there. What I do enjoy about the story, and I'll admit it's because it immediately connects me with another story that I came up with years ago that I used for a choose your own horror adventure story, and it was a monster that got sent via text.
Oh, okay.
And that it would reside in people's phones and basically learn from how they spoke, how they texted, in order to mimic them, and then start sending its own messages from that person's phone, from its host phone, to other people. And the whole point was to rile up negative energy so it could connect. And the moment that there was enough negative energy, it could then reach through that phone and then attack people, usually by ripping off their faces.
Oh, wow.
And so it's like reading this, I'm just like, yep, that reminds me of my story. Goes in a very different direction because the people in this manga and anime can fight back, as opposed to what the story I came up with.
I do like, and I think it's one of the best versions of this I've seen in a lot of these kinds of anime. I like how they handle the mentor character in this, because he's, I mean, not just his personality. I mean, his personality is really fun. He's really gung-ho. He's really energetic. But he's your normal, everyday exorcist. He can't interact with these social media ghosts. But he is very powerful in his own right, has his own tricks. And it's interesting to see him be able to, like, help out and handle and try to guide basically these kids that end up having to fight these just overwhelming monstrosities, and well, he's not able to do quite as much, and it's an interesting dynamic that's created by doing that. All right, shall we make fun of the next one?
Okay.
We don't necessarily have to make fun of it, but it's
roll over and die. I had actually read this one before seeing it on our list, and I remember dropping it because it felt like a story that had to go out of its way to be edgy.
Yeah,
like there's so many moments where I'm like, you didn't actually need to do that. That was absolutely not necessary. That's gratuitous. That I'm like, why? And when I'm asking myself why, and the only answer is because it needs to be edgy, then I close the book. I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah, this fits into some of those, like, you've been kicked out of the hero's party, now what do you do kind of stories. And there's a lot of the same elements happening. Like, it tries to lean more into the edgy side of things, and the creatures they end up fighting are kind of interesting, but it's very much that same, oh, I'm gonna prove the hero party wrong, and I'm just gonna have to be edgier than them to do it. And I'm like, okay, you do that, I'm gonna be over here and watch the next anime on our list.
Yeah.
Can I just move on to the next one?
Yeah, I might as well move on to the next one. There's really nothing I have much to say in regards to roll over and die.
Right. So our next one, so in Japanese, it's Kirei Ni Shitemoraemasu Ka. So basically translates to, may I make that pretty for you, or may I clean that for you? Which is this really, I mean, the art in it, fantastic, very atmospheric, very slice of life. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, this is your jam, because you've got the main character who she's basically amnesic. She can't remember a whole lot of what happened in her life, but she does remember how to, like, how to clean clothing. She runs a small like dry cleaning service basically, and like it's really kind of fun seeing her like really get into the work and go about her daily life. It's very cute, it's very easygoing. Like there's a little bit of mystery about like what happened in her past, but other than that, just there's not much more to say about that one.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy the nice like the how about it's a slice of life, and it's a slice of life that isn't trying to focus all on the cutesy side of the slice of life. This is the work side of slice of life, which at some points is overwhelming, some points it's annoying, sometimes it's really nice and fulfilling, and that's just what you get.
Yeah.
If you're not ready to buckle in for a slow burn that just takes you to someone's life in Japan, then this is probably not going to be for you. But if that's something that you're interested in, you're going to get it here, and I think it will be nice. I think it'll be very nice.
Yeah. And then on to our next one, which is also very slice of life and very cozy, but this one definitely leans into the cutesy side of things a little bit. It's called The Demon King's Daughter is Too Kind, and oh boy, is she too kind.
Oh my gosh, I loved how diabetes-inducingly sweet this thing is, because you've got the demon lord who's like, yes, my daughter must be taught to hate all the people and to ruin their lives. And the girl is just so flippin' adorable. And everything is in the context of a young girl, like 5-6 years old. Yeah. So her understanding of everything, the way that she misunderstands people, what she wants to do is just, it's so wholesome, and it's so hilarious how she continuously defies the expectations of her father and of her mentor, and does not ruin the lives of humans and other good kind creatures, but at the same time, like whatever problem these humans or other races pose by being enemies of the Demon King, basically get neutralized because she's just so dang sweet. That's like, she's getting all the results you want, just not in the way you want them.
Right. Well, and I love this too because it showcases an interesting take on writing I hadn't thought of before, where like everybody's focused on is like, oh, how is the story going to change your main character? But when you flip that, you create an interesting like writing principle in of itself. Is how does your main character change your story? How does your main character change the people around them? And this story focuses almost entirely on how the actions of this, like the main character of this girl, completely changes everyone around her. Like she's just so nice, she's just so kind. Everybody's like ends up having a better day because of it. And you see by the end of the story that like everybody's just been completely changed by her presence.
Yeah. And I mean, this is not necessarily something new to a lot of anime and manga. Like, for instance, I immediately think of Bleach being one of those examples of the unchanging protagonist who just influences everything, because Ichigo almost doesn't change at all. His only change really is in terms of power acquisition, all of the abilities that he gains. Power-ups are not character development. It's what Ichigo does to everyone else that's interesting. How he forces the world around him to change. In this case, we get someone who changes the world not through force of will or power, but just simply through, I'm a cute little girl who misunderstands things and wants to be friends with everyone. Yay, go for it.
It's just so much fun. Like this one I'm really excited for.
Yeah, this will be a good heal. I mean, it's not like there's a whole bunch of like really depressing anime this season other than Oshi No Ko. So if you feel really dragged down by Oshi No Ko and you need a pick-me-up, then come over here to this one.
Yeah, that's it. All right, let's move on to Hana-Kimi, which I so wish the manga for this one was organized better. I mean, this one definitely has its fans. It's been around for a while because, like, this is one of those. I feel like more classic shoujos that came out like early 2000s, and there's a lot of people who are big fans of it. I know, but the manga is just hard to read through because they're trying to shove so much into so little space right from the beginning. And I hope, I honestly hope the anime one organizes things better, but also kind of slows it down so it's easier to understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's just a skill issue on my part, though.
So to give people an idea of what we're of why we're bringing this up. Yeah. So in the story, you've got a girl who's going to cross dress as a boy in order to enter an all boys school to be close to the guy that she likes most, a tennis player. And
no, he's a high jumper.
Oh, he's a high jumper. Wait, who's the tennis player?
I don't know.
Why am I suddenly remembering tennis player?
I just know he's like track and field, like high jumping and pole vaulting kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because he is the high jumper. But so in any case, so she sneaks in, and not only is she able to get in pretending to be a guy, but she gets put into the same boarding room with him. And if you've seen She's the Man, you basically have She's the Man. What spices this up and what makes it so potentially amazing, but then really frustrating, as Scott brings up, is that very quickly people pick up on that this is a girl. By the end of 5 chapters, there's at least 3 people in the know. You've got the doctor, you've got her roommate, the guy that she's interested in, and then another guy, one of her classmates, all know that she's a girl, and they all keep it secret.
There's one other, but I don't think the dog counts.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Pooch, you don't count.
You're right.
But you've got 3 guys who know what's going on and for their own reasons keep it secret. And so you've got actually a fantastic engine for not just drama, but also for a lot of comedy. The problem is that the story is more interested in the drama aspect rather than in the comedy aspect. As a result, it needs to make things convoluted in order to build up that drama. One could actually argue that it's already set up well enough that it doesn't need to be overcomplicated. The problem is that many people who write dramas, the easiest way for them to make drama is to create misunderstandings. The best way to create a misunderstanding without making characters look stupid is to make the plot convoluted. And that is what we've got going on here.
Yeah, very much so. I like I said, this one has a real chance of creating something that really shines with the anime. And I'm hoping that's what it gets. I'm hoping that that's the treatment it gets out of this.
Yeah, we'll just have to see if the animators are willing to go in a slightly different direction. Because again, if you leaned a little bit more into the potential comedy aspect, it would really build up the story. And on top of that, comedy actually helps to amplify the drama, because the comedy is the release, and once the release is done, your brain and your heart are now conditioned to just get pounded by the misunderstandings, by the heightening of the tension and of the personal stakes involved, and the will they, won't they. Woo. So you need that balance to really actually make a drama go far. Otherwise, dramas get very exhausting.
Right. You know what would be funny for this story, though? Because the main character, she's from America in the first place. She moves to Japan to do that. And like from the original scenes, you see her when she's in America. If in the dub they give her a California Valley Girl accent, that would be
also
pretty good.
Speaking Japanese?
No, not even speaking. Well,
because that would be awful and hilarious.
Oh man, it drives me nuts because like you get familiar enough with Japanese, and then you hear somebody try to speak it in American like Southern or cowboy accent, and it hurts your ears. Like, it drives me insane when people do that.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's a couple of TikToks I've seen that do that. And every time it's just like, no, my poor ears.
I mean, I myself cannot say that I've ever experienced that with Japanese, but I do know what that's like with German. Oh, hearing new Schwanstein.
Oh no.
It's like is there nothing where you could have at least attempted to make that sound German?
Yeah. Well, and one thing with Japanese is like you need to roll your R's, and like it's something I still struggle with, but like I at least try. You hear people like full on go full R on it instead of dot. It'd be raw, and I'm just like, it doesn't sound right. I can't do that. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. So we have another slice of life, but this one's our final one. Very realistic, very kind of sad and like moody in its own way. It's very like slice of real life, if anything. But I do like the dynamic it creates. So it's called Journal with Witch. And I was expecting some like fantasy witch vibes, and I did not get any of that.
No, this is very grounded.
Oh man. So you've got the main character who I think within the first part of the story, she's still in shock. Like she's kind of very numb and like not very emotional over everything that's happened because her parents got in a car accident. They died. Her extended family is fighting over not wanting to take her in. And I've seen other anime handle this, but like she's basically in high school. She's almost full on grown up, and so it's just like it really feel bad for her. And then you've got the sister of her mom who was estranged from her mom comes in and is like, yeah, I'll take her in, like I'm pretty busy, but I've at least got a place for her to stay. And then you end up with this very interesting dynamic as they end up kind of helping take care of each other going forward from that point.
So I read a lot of this one,
okay,
like 2-3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
The intro. So my bad. This is absolutely my bad. I didn't realize that it was a girl at first because she dresses like a guy a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And so when she then goes to school, her school uniform is like, so this is one of those cross-dressing manga. Okay.
Oh no.
Which is not the case. That's definitely not the case. This is a sweet one, though at the same time, it actually is emotionally draining to go through.
Yeah.
Because of the healing that's involved. This manga, and hopefully by extent the anime, is very raw. But not raw in the sense where it's trying to be brutal. I think that's where when most people hear raw as a description for anything other than meat, that that they think it's brutal. But raw really just means that it's not been prettied up, it's not been dulled down, it's not pulling its punches. And this story can be beautiful while not holding back. And so it's pretty brutally honest of what life can be like in Japan with a career woman taking care now of an older teenager who is dealing with a lot of trauma, is trying to make it through school. These two don't know each other, so you have a generational divide, you have a communication divide, but they both realize that they need each other, and they're actively trying to make it work.
Yeah.
And that's really beautiful.
It is really beautiful. All right, that's our whole list. I mean, there's plenty of other anime coming out this season. There's a lot that like I couldn't throw on the list because there's no manga that either we weren't able to find or it's like an original or based off like a video game or something. But like there's plenty of other great stories coming out this season as well on that end. So let us know what you're interested in, what you're watching, and we're excited to hear about that from you.
Yeah, and please, if you're interested in our breakdowns and reviews and analyses of Frieren season 2, make sure that you subscribe for that. and click the bell icon to receive notifications, as well as YouTube gives them, because YouTube doesn't like to hand out notifications. But in any case, anything you can do to be notified of that, because that is something that we're going to try to deliver each and every week as possible as the episodes premiere, because this is an absolutely fun show. It has resonated with both of us, and with Scott having manga knowledge can actually bring in, I think, a little bit more in terms of perspective and insight as to what's going on. And as someone who can speak German, I can tell you what's happening with the names.
Nice.
Because sometimes the names work really well for the characters, and other times it's meant to be tongue-in-cheek, a play on their personalities. As in, like, for instance, with Ubel is definitely messed up in the head. Her name would translate towards evil. And yet the question is, after you spend time with Ubel, is she really evil? Or is she really messed up? Or is she actually super innocent and really weird? Who knows? And that's kind of the fun with it, using her name.
Okay,
because...
so I'm curious. I'm curious for a few names right here for people coming in for the next season. Then, so
also,
first one is
I was going to say this is one of the reasons why I love the name Zine for the character Zine, because he is the most versatile character in the party, which fits his name, because Zine as the verb in German is the most frustrating of all verbs, because it gets conjugated differently for every situation.
I see.
And so it's the most versatile verb, and therefore it's always changing, just as Zine is the most versatile member of the group.
Yeah.
Also, it's a play on his own journey, because Zine is to be, or is, and when we meet him, he's definitely not doing. He is very stagnant.
Right.
So he has to become, and then he starts living up to his namesake.
Nice. So the names I've got is Macht, so M-A-C-H-T.
Macht.
Yeah.
Power.
Okay, that explains it. And then we have Solitar, so S-O-L-I-T-A-R, and there's like the two little dots above the A.
Solitaire.
Yeah.
Yeah, solitary.
Okay, that explains that one as well. How about Grausam? So Grausam.
Grausam.
Okay.
Grausam is, what would be the best way to translate that? Because immediately my mind switches to gruesome, but gruesome is actually not the right one. Grausam is, depending on the context, you're saying that it's, Grausam would be annoyingly overbearing, rough, awful, bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the last one is Schlacht. So S-C-H-L-A-C-H-T.
Schlacht. Battle.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
Well,
yeah, and
we'll
then
get to see some cool characters.
And then there's Schlag. But Schlag and Schlacht are not the same thing. But they often are together in German. Schlacht is battle and Schlag is hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm curious to see how they fit these characters, in your opinion, once we get to it.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited for that. Oh, another fun one. Fan, which I know everyone says Fern, but in German you'd say Fan, and that's another fun one for her, because Fan is far away or distant, which is a play on her personality, because she always seems very distant. She's always got the 1,000-yard stare going, unless she's like cutely upset or very angry. So she always seems very distant, yet she's one of the closest people in the entire story.
Nice. Oh, I do have one more. Sorry. So it's Tot. So T-O-T.
Wait, say it again.
Tot? T-O-T?
Oh, Tot.
Todd.
Tot.
Okay.
Dead.
Oh, well, I mean, that kind of answers a question I had, at least a little bit. Oh crap! I'm more scared of that character now. All right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah. And actually, so it's TOT, not TOD.
It says it's TOT.
Okay,
Says
because
Tot, also known as the Saint of the End.
yeah, death. Because told is death. Tot is to describe someone as dead.
Okay.
And if you have tödlich, that means that it's deadly.
Right.
For a second there, I thought you were saying tot, and I was like, tot means action or to do. It's almost similar to sein. That would actually be the noun of sein.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let us know what you thought of all the stuff we said. And
yeah,
we're looking
all of our
forward
sites, a little bit of German,
yep,
and everything else.
Yep, and then let us know what shows you're watching this season.
Yeah, please let us know. And we'll then be seeing you guys soon enough in another video. And until then, happy holidays and juice.
Okini.